Counselor Lehman?
Here.
Counselor Larson?
Here.
Counselor Keithley?
Here.
Mayor Swanson?
Here. Reports from department heads. Public Works. Hi, Trent.
Howdy. I don't have anything for you tonight, so I'm here for questions, comments, concerns. You guys have anything for me?
The only question I had, who did the dust control?
Company?
Yeah,
Trimark.
Trimark.
Yep.
Were we charged by the gallon on that stuff, or how do they charge?
It was, yes, by gallon. I don't remember the exact price. I told you guys it was it was like 76 cents a gallon. So it was. It was the cheapest I found.
Because it appeared we had more on our streets than
In the
in the alleys. And so I just wondered
No, it's,
if they adjusted for leakage, or if we were charged.
well, that's just it. I know it looks bad, but it wasn't a whole lot. It just stays there. But yeah, I know what you're talking about, but in order for, because I asked him about it, and he said in order for it to stop leaking, they would have to sit there and wait like 10 minutes after each alley in order to completely stop leaking and go on.
So the
And they
valves,
charged after 2 hours, it was an extra $70 per hour, so it wouldn't have been a whole lot extra had they just stopped after each alley.
How long did it take them?
2 hours.
did it run more than we had figured?
I ordered 5,000, they brought 4,700, and it got everything in town. It just ran a little short getting out to ODC. Got about halfway there on the road and then they ran out.
Okay.
It just appeared it was everywhere.
Yeah, noticed it on the streets too,
It seemed
yeah.
like I was, more in the streets than I was in the alleys.
Yeah,
It's like,
I suppose. Sits on top.
Yeah, well, they said it's probably gonna sit there for about a week and it's over. Then it's starting to go away on the roads now.
Okay.
But the alleys are looking good now.
Well, good.
It's sitting in the alleys at least.
So you guys are staying pretty busy, aren't you?
Yes.
I see that. The
Very
town
busy.
looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How about them trimmers?
yeah.
Were you able to get them fixed, or?
Yeah, I got
All
two
three of them?
running. So I still have one more.
Okay.
Gotta get it purchased. I haven't been nailing them yet.
How's the summer help working?
Good. They're all willing to do what we ask them, so that's a good thing.
Well, they're willing to do it, but are they doing it well?
They'll learn.
Okay. All right.
I'm not worried about them.
Okay. Thank you, Trent.
Thank you.
Fire and ambulance?
See, start with the weekend. Pretty quiet weekend, not many calls. We didn't cover all the shifts. There's a few people that stayed back this weekend and helped cover all the calls, or standby just in case there was calls. Did real well with that. Yesterday the parade, we had a lot of help show up for that, which was nice.
I'd like to thank you guys too. You did a wonderful job. Some of the crew even helped us out with the games and stuff, and we had a nice turnout over at the park. There were a lot of people there.
Thank you, pass that along. Today, we did have 3 calls go today, and just for your information, it was at residential houses, not at the nursing home.
All three?
So, kind of a little bit different this time, so kind of nice to fall back on that today too, so. Very nice.
Good to have the people here for it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was very helpful.
Yeah.
The other thing that we have going on is that dropped off some applications, and I know we have another application in the works, I believe. Once we get the background checks on those and everything seems like it's okay, we'd like to possibly pursue into the physicals if we get to that point and not have to wait the 2 weeks, but for approval to possible.
Do you have some names to present to us, Ted?
Not tonight.
Okay.
I don't know the third. Trying to think. That works.
Oh, I don't remember their names.
No, I don't. It's the ones that moved into Weary's house over there.
And they're related to them.
Tracy Morgan
Okay,
and David Hopman.
okay,
They live right across the street from me.
okay. So those are 2 of your 3?
There's 2 of the 3. I have permission to move forward with those 2, if that's okay. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried?
Clarification on this is for the in-town coverage. So this would be helping with our nights and our weekends and everything like that as well.
Oh, wonderful. Fire, ambulance?
Both.
Okay,
Very good.
Yeah, there's interest in both on those 2.
that's great.
Yep.
All right.
That's it. That's all I have. Do you have anything for me?
No, I'm glad you're not asking for any money tonight, so thanks, Ted.
Here's a piece of paper.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
engineering, you're just in time. You're on the agenda. Okay.
Okay.
Attorney, long-range planning and zoning is meeting in another week or so. Recreation Board will be meeting in a couple of weeks to go over everything that went on yesterday. I think, as stated, we had a really nice turnout at the park for the 4th of July, and the parade went well. Everything went off really well. A lot of nice comments on that. Library Board meets in another week or 2. Sheriff?
First things first, I don't know if you've met Deputy Marty Thorne yet. He's a new deputy in Buhl, and he took over May 19th. Started riding with, yeah, that was Blair's last day, I think, May 19th.
Yeah, something like that.
Law enforcement report calls for service year to date, 520. Total police calls for June is 115. Deputy Thorne handled 53 of those, and other Hibbing sheriffs handled 62. I looked through them, there's nothing, a lot of traffic. Deputy Thorne's been busy with traffic enforcement, he's helping out with medicals. The spike in calls the last 2 months, I think last time I said, it's because of the Mesabi Academy. A lot of calls are coming in from former clients, and our investigators have been working those cases, so the last 2 months those numbers climbed a little bit on that. So other than that, just a few minor police calls. So.
I'd like to thank Deputy Thorne too for participating in our parade yesterday and joining us in our games at the park. It was nice having you there.
Yeah, no,
Great to have
Enjoyed
your
it.
presence and let people get to know who you are.
Definitely.
So thank you for that.
One other thing is Deputy Thorne brought up, he wanted to talk to you guys about the possibility of putting up some stop signs. And I think my understanding is Sergeant McKenzie had talked about it before, and it might have been declined or whatever, but
You know, at one point, we did have some concerns about stop signs at different places, and so we had a study done, and the county came back to us and recommended that we not put up many, because the more you put up, the less they're respected.
okay.
He said over signage is worse than under signage sometimes, so.
Yeah, we've got 2 uncontrolled intersections in town.
And I know which one you're talking about at the bottom of the hill here, and that one has been brought up several times, and no action has ever been taken on it. We could look at it again, but I think because of the way the sidewalk is and everything, it'd be really, I don't know, it'd
I
be
guess the
something.
main thing, I think, by talking to him was that, State Street's kind of the main street.
Yeah.
So, but if somebody's coming down.
Jones.
A lot of people, I ran into before where they think, okay, I'm on the main street, I got the right of way. Well, they don't. If somebody's coming, if they're going north on State and somebody comes down Jones, if that's uncontrolled,
Yeah,
a lot of them think I'm on Main Street, I just keep going. Well, if they collide, the car on Jones to the right of way, I have the right of way. So the
Yeah.
person on Main gets a ticket, so,
I don't know if we've ever had an accident on that
Right.
intersection, but
right.
I know your concern, at least a
And I've
yield.
watched a few times where it's come close to one.
Yeah,
Luckily, people have started paying attention right at the last second, but, if one of those vehicles wasn't paying attention,
yeah.
if they're both not reacting, there's gonna be an accident. So kind of a safety issue coming through there, I guess.
What would your thoughts be on possibly a yield sign?
Even a yield, just something to catch their attention.
So
get
to tell them that it's somebody else's, it's
They have the right
right
of
of way.
know that somebody else is the right of way, you don't have it.
Right.
Because I mean, it makes sense to have Main Street have the right of way continually, but if there's nothing there for the side streets coming off, depending on where they're driving, they don't have the right of way. If both vehicles come to that intersection at the same time, yield the right to state law. So if
Right.
somebody on Main Street thinks, well, if I'm on Main, I can keep going, and they hit, they're at fault if they're supposed to yield to the car.
Right.
On the right.
Right.
But so I mean, even if it was something like you said, like yield signs, that would let people know that, okay, Main Street has the right of way here.
Yeah,
That's-
visibility is really good down here unless there's a lot of traffic at Billy's, and then seeing around that
It is
can be a
hard.
little tricky, so I think it is something that we could look at.
I remember we talked about a stop sign on that corner before. And I
Actually,
kinda-
over the last few years,
I can't
several
remember
times.
What the reasoning,
I think it might have had to do with the pavement down there,
That's-
because it's paved all the way, you know.
I
There's-
heard also that you guys didn't want people having to stop on a hill or whatever, but, I mean.
I don't know if that's an
yeah, I mean,
issue,
if they're
really.
forced to
It's
yield-
not that bad.
If they're forced to yield to somebody, they gotta be able to control their car, even if they're on a hill.
Yeah, and at least a yield sign, like you say, then everybody knows whose right of way it is, and,
Then the second one is, again, on State Street, but on Mercer, one block down.
right, right, it's the same thing,
Same
uncontrolled,
thing,
and
exactly.
State Street is a busier street in
Yep.
town too, so, yeah, I think that's worth looking into.
On another time, did the signs get put up for the speed on Salt and
I
Valley yet?
didn't notice them yesterday.
They have
I didn't
them,
notice them yesterday.
No,
Not yet.
I think he
Yeah, I didn't see him.
had one sign, but we needed one more. We had to order.
okay,
And I had Deputy Thorne do some traffic there, even on Forest now. One of the citizens here last time had brought it up.
yeah,
I've been watching, I've found a few violators, mostly on Pennsylvania, but, you know, on Forest, I think they look a lot faster than they're actually going.
right. I think that's true too. There's no sidewalk, it's just, you're right there, so, yeah. Well, do we want to look at putting yield signs on those two intersections? Or,
I'd prefer it be a yield than a stop.
I would too. But at least it gives a right of way to
It
somebody
does spell it out.
could keep from having an accident down there, I don't know.
I make a motion that we put at least yield signs or something there.
And make
On-
State Street the main street that where they wouldn't have to stop. The yields would go on Mercer and Jones.
Jones and Mercer.
I'll support that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay,
That's all I have.
all right, thank you.
I got one question for you. How's the car been running?
That's a good question.
He's not pushing it.
It still starts when I tell it to start, so.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, but it's, I think it's almost, what, at 100,000?
Yeah, I'll probably hit 99,000 this week, if not
So
tonight.
it's getting to about time where
We have to look at a bicycle?
He's got one.
Don't we have a bicycle?
yeah, so I mean, it's, 100,000 is getting to the point on the squad
Yeah.
where it's getting up there.
It'd be
Okay.
it'd be interesting to know the idle hours on them cars.
Oh, yeah, a lot.
I know the newer cars tell you the idle hours, but this one doesn't, but.
And I know it was, like our department, usually around 90, I think. Talked to the state patrol, they're usually about 100,000. Now it's, they might still run, but the ride train is starting to get questionable on them, and
Yeah,
so. That, you'd hate to have them responding to an emergency call and the thing does blow up again.
yeah. Right, right. Okay,
All right?
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, clerk's report.
I don't really have anything.
And it's not for lack of being busy.
No.
Every time I come in, you've got about 5 different things going on.
Last week I went to a webinar over at the Rams building for deed. They had a seminar down in St. Paul and they were able to get it broadcast online for grants for commercial redevelopment and demolition. So I was looking into that for the old nursing home. So the grant is due August 1, so I'll be working on that as well.
And you had a chance to talk with Chris from the IRRB.
Yes, I talked to Chris. They're doing a new grant process, so they're gonna be having an open house end of July, beginning of August, that I can go over there and, basically they'll walk you through the new process, get your account signed up, and they have less dollars this year. They only have 5 million versus the 7 and 9 they've had the last couple of years, so. But we're still gonna keep trying.
Right,
Don't ask, don't get.
that's right. Keep asking.
Good, yeah.
All right, council additions to the agenda. There are a couple of items. I think since we've got this letter, we should discuss our Minnesota power issue as far as power outages. So power outages, and then I would also like to recognize an award given to our Senator Thomasoni. Okay. Persons wishing to address the council? All right. Consent agenda, minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting of June 21st.
I'll support that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Claims?
I'll make a motion to pay the total, or gross payroll of 13.1, and the payroll of June, and total AP is $12,247.10.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Business. AMVETS is first on our agenda, and we have a gentleman here to discuss this with us. I think this is an application for lawful gambling
For Billy's and for Hideaway.
for the Billy's and for the Hideaway. I see both of the bars in town.
Here in Steam Council, we were contacted by both the bars that they were no longer going to be serviced by the Buhl Fire Department. Sometimes somebody's doing all the paperwork, like he says, you get a little tired, and I think that's what happened. And we have about 10 different sites, Hibbing and Chisholm and some rural areas. And these two sites are, I expect, medium type of sites. I don't understand they're not large volume, but we get at the end of the year, it turns out to be productive. We'll service them good, and we will see that we get some charitable giving to the city of Buhl.
I was going to ask you what the vets would use the money for.
Over in Chisholm, we give the American Legion their 4 small $250 scholarships that they give out at the school. And we could do that with Buhl, whatever we could complement the city of Buhl with in donations. And you have more ideas about it than we do, but so we like to approach you a little later on and
See how it's going?
see how we're doing and see what we can find out that you would be comfortable in donating. It's nice to be the fire department, and certainly it has helped them in the past.
Yes.
But you have other causes in Buhl too that I think you can come up with easily. A donation from the city of Buhl through us writing a check to them.
Right.
Good.
Well, this sounds really good. I'm really happy that you're able to come in, and I think the citizens will respond well to that here in town too. That's great.
Good, thank you very much.
Could I have a motion to accept the permit applications?
I'll make a motion that we, let the vets, AMVETS post 12 go ahead with the gambling license for the Hideaway and Billy's.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carried.
Just on a quick note, like, I'm on the fire department, so a lot of our money went for kids and stuff for like MIB and SWAP and stuff like that around town, so. You guys.
Well, good, you'll be, there was a John
John,
in the fire department.
Davey?
yeah, Davey.
I
Yeah.
think we got his telephone number from one of the bars to contact him to make sure we can coordinate to get this started again, 1st of August. And then we'll certainly follow up on, some of the donations that you are used to doing.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Thank you very much.
Also for working with us, and we'll work with you.
Thank you very much.
And you'll let Darby Ann know what the mayor said about nice doing here.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Oh. All right, Whiteside Avenue project.
Okay, on June 29th, we took bids on the Whiteside Avenue project. We received 6 bids. Tony's Construction from Hibbing was the low bidder at $148,722. Masabi, I think you've got the letter.
Yes.
Masabi and the rest of the numbers that we received on the bids. Tony's Construction was the low bidder, and we recommended the city awards the project to award it to Tony's Construction. We've worked with Tony in the past. It's Tony Laskovich. I don't know if you all might know him, or, but he is, he provided necessary paperwork, and with the CDBG, has to pay the prevailing wages and things like that.
Sure. The only stick in this whole thing is that we did want to get our bids out in hopes of the IRRB awarding monies for these projects, and it doesn't sound like there's going to be any money this year.
It doesn't sound like it, not for those type of projects.
But we got, how much we got around 98,000 something from CBG or
95.
95,
So we would have to come up with
The other
the other.
50, 53, 54.
We do have funds.
Yes.
Last week when Bonnie was going through the audit, we do have funds available to use for the street project if we wanted to.
I make a motion that we go ahead with Tony Lastovich's Tony's Construction bids.
The only other thing to do would be if we want to wait until next year and see if they will award money for it, but we wouldn't be able to continue doing these projects if we have to put in that kind of money every year. That's
No,
the
I mean, we
only
could do
thing.
it every year. Definitely not.
Now, if we do this, and we're using city monies, how is that going to affect the people who live on Grant? They'll pay the same,
Well, we can't do a special assessment because we're getting CDBG money.
oh, that's right. That's right. So there'll be no recouping of any of it.
No.
Is taking it out of our funds gonna leave us short elsewhere if we have an emergency or?
We're sitting fairly comfortable.
Yeah.
We really are. It's just that, there's a certain amount of criticism in town when we do a project and it's not assessed. And I think if we use city money on top of that, you can expect there'll be some unhappy people who would think that really isn't right for us to do that kind of thing. On the other hand, if the project warrants being done this year rather than put it off for another year, then, you know, that's a judgment call.
Well, there's people that think that we should be doing more street work.
There's always that too. Well, you're gonna get, we know that we get criticized no matter what we do or don't do here.
True.
But I guess it comes down to a judgment call. If we feel it needs to be done this year, then we've got the monies, we can do it.
We're probably not gonna see cheaper asphalt prices, are
No,
we, John? I mean,
that's correct. I mean, our project estimate was like 186,000 for this. And
Yeah.
I remember even a couple of years ago, I think we even had one bid on a project at one time because we couldn't get, there was so much work out there. But you're
Yeah.
right, the,
I mean, I thought I seen 60,
down, yeah.
65 a ton on a small project, that's pretty, you know,
Pretty reasonable,
for asphalt.
yeah.
Of course, it's a complete reconstruction from Whiteside, from Memorial down to Roberts. And then doing some sewer and storm sewer work in an area where
We'd probably
We've got
need
we
it.
don't know where the actually, where the storm sewer goes. Probably that's included in the bid to figure that out, but, you know, it's just, everything drains down in that, down to Roberts there. There's a pipe out in the ditch, but how it gets there, that's a good question. It's really the stuff back there. And matter of fact, this involves.
So we can
like the
expect
church
some
manual
overruns.
That we, council approved a couple meetings ago, you know, we got another manhole in this project is very similar condition that's being replaced. So it's addressing the aging infrastructure in the area too, which.
So with not knowing where that sewer is exactly, are we gonna run into, you know, a lot of,
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna chase where it goes across the street, because we know it heads westerly. We're gonna put a manhole structure there and then tie into that, not replace it the rest of the way, but at least we'll be able to identify what kind of shape that's for, maybe a future project, but that would be out of the roadway. Everything would, you know, all the utility work would be done, so it's like an easement. There's an alley that goes on the backside there. I'm not even sure, again, where the pipe goes and how it crosses the property there.
Well, we have a motion on the floor.
I don't think we're gonna get it done any cheaper than we are right now.
Right, right.
One thing, it might be cheaper if we were doing more blocks, but we're only doing one block, so you're looking at a lot of mold costs and stuff, but
I would support that as long as we're not, like, cutting ourselves short anywhere.
We won't be.
That'd my
No.
We won't be.
concern.
We'll be okay.
No,
I'll
we're
support
not.
that motion.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carried. So the next motion it would be to award the bid to one of these? Or did you award the bid in that? Okay,
did.
all right. To move ahead and award it, so, okay. All right, thank you, John.
John, I do have a question. What's the completion date on?
I say September 15th,
Okay. I just,
and that's gonna be one thing we're gonna stress at the
Yeah.
pre-construction meeting is when you're gonna start, just let us know. Completion date's hard,
yeah,
you don't come and rip everything out and
Take
come
off.
back like we had on Memorial
Yeah.
Drive there.
Yeah.
Or South Memorial stuff.
John, do you have a pre-construction meeting set up already?
No. No. It'll probably be after we get the bonds, payment performance bond from the contractor and his insurance, set up a schedule or a meeting working with Mike Vidmer from CDBG would want to be here too, so I doubt if it would be next week, maybe the week after. I talked to Tony, he's kind of anxious to get going, so, you know, so we might be looking at starting right after the pre-con, which would be close to the third week of July or whatever, so.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
thanks, John. Approval of the 2015 audit report. The auditor met with Counselor Larson, myself, and the city clerk, and Clerk Heady, and went over the audit. We had a clean audit, which meant that things were in order. They were really, she gave us thumbs up many times throughout the audit, and that's to the credit of our city clerk, who keeps the books very well. And
Well done.
Yes, and you know, the only thing, and it comes up every year with our audit, is oversight, and being that we're a small community, you know, the more we can oversee what's going on in the office, you know, what's going on with the bills and things. And if we know our budget a little bit, it helps take some of the pressure off of Diana when she has to try and counsel us as to spending money. We should know how we're sitting so that we can not just leave it up to her, I guess, to tell us. But she's doing a really good job, and it came out in our audit. And
We need a motion to,
we need a motion to approve the audit report.
I'll make the motion to approve the 2015 audit report.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We need to renew our Northern Minnesota dental agreement for our employees. A slight increase.
Very little.
I'll make a motion we renew our Northern Minnesota dental
Insurance for the city employees.
insurance for the city employees.
I'll support that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Well, the municipal tort liability comes up. Is that an annual thing too, where we have to say every year that?
Yes.
Yeah, if we do not waive the monetary limits, we could be in big trouble. So the city usually, if we did waive it, the city could be sued for over 100
Yeah, you don't-
or 1.5 million.
million, yeah.
Yeah, so this motion would be to not waive.
Correct.
Well, I'll make a motion that we do not waive the monetary limits on municipal tort liability.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Our Minnesota Rural Water Association membership is due. Our annual payment would be $250. So,
I'll make a motion that we apply for membership for the Rural Water Association for $250.
Support.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. This was something that came up with the audit review, and it was suggested that it would be the right thing to do for us to approve the hose and nozzle fund to be established as a general fund for the Buhl Fire Relief Association. Could I have that motion?
So moved.
I'm not abstaining.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. All right. We've had a couple of outages in town this year, and I think this last one was responded to relatively quickly once they found out about it, but there was a concerned citizen, Mrs. Staffaroni, who wanted to give us some ideas on what she thought we could do to make it easier for people to contact the proper line of responsibility if the power goes out. And of course, it would be Minnesota Power if it's after hours here. And Diana had told me that she had been thinking that she would put something on the utility bill at the bottom, just saying, if your power should go out, call Minnesota Power at, and have the phone number on there. So if we did that, I think, I don't know, you'd do it every month for
We'd probably
ongoing.
do it for a few months, especially, it's good in the summer months, but yeah, we
Yeah.
put a little message on it, and it'll just say after hours power outages call, and then give the Minnesota Power Lights Out number.
Right?
Good idea.
I think it's in the phone book, but this might make it easier for some people who maybe don't look at a phone book anymore.
Yeah, I think we should have that number on there all the time. All year long. And then we should almost change our voicemail, because you call it after hours and you leave a message.
Yep,
So if people call City Hall an emergency,
we can do that.
Add something to the message.
Is that what
Yeah.
they should do, is call Minnesota Power
Yes.
immediately? So our city electrician,
Minnesota
If-
Power has to check in with our foreman before they can
Okay.
come out and do anything,
okay. So if it's something that he could fix and he is.
He's alerted right away by them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's the proper chain of command after hours here. I think though, Stuart, that it would be better if we only did it for like 3 months in the summer on their utility bill, because you know how it is, if something's always on, you kind of quit looking at it. But I think if it's only on during those months, people might actually notice, hey, what's on here?
yeah. But I was just thinking if people take their bill and throw it in the garbage, and then in January the power go out, and they're looking and scrambling for the summer bills or things. I mean, if it's not hard
Or-
to put on there.
Is it something we could put in the library news?
Newsletter
Oh.
too. We could certainly put it in there too.
The third quarter's.
Yeah, good idea.
And it is in the phone book as well. I mean, the number is available.
But I think people in town don't really know that, like, if they can't contact somebody, they don't know, because they buy their power from the city.
That they would contact Minnesota Power.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So that, I
So
think,
maybe
is
we
where
could-
some confusion comes in.
If we put it on the utility bill, that seems like the proper place for us to advertise it, but I think also in the newsletter is a good idea.
Yep.
And we could put something on the phone message where, when they call here after hours, if you have a power outage, call Minnesota Power at, and give that number.
Yeah, all those are easy to do and
Yes.
don't take long, and
And then hopefully, I mean, I don't know of too many times where people have not gotten a hold of somebody and had a power issue. Twice this year that I know of. And both times Minnesota Power responded as best they could.
And if you did have a power outage and you can't get a hold of anybody in the city, you could call 911. I mean, I
Well,
would either let the sheriffs know or put a page for the fire department, and somebody in town's gonna
right.
be checking too. So,
right.
I mean, I don't know if you guys deal with power outages much, but
We usually get called if it's a line down,
Line down.
tree smoldering, or.
Something
Or
unsafe.
actual line down that
Sure.
is a hazard, but.
to contact somebody in the city, would be one way to get a hold of somebody.
No, I think Minnesota Power is the way to go. Send them right to the right source. Is everyone okay with that then? Do we need a motion for this, Diana? We'll just do it.
I think we can just do
We'll
it.
we'll just do it. Okay. All right, I had a memorandum from the League of Minnesota Cities, and Senator David Tomasoni, who represents our city as a state legislator, has been selected as a League of Minnesota Cities Legislator of Distinction for 2016. And so we'd like to commend him on that honor that he's been given by the League of Minnesota Cities, and congratulate him on his good works for our behalf. And I think that's it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.